I'm Ringo Machiavelli and this is AFX World. Welcome back viewers to another episode of AFX World. Today we're going to be making the camera car. If you remember in one of our earlier episodes in the dining room dash rehash, I sort of brought out the camera car that I'd sort of quickly put together. It didn't work, so we're back to give it another go. I've got an idea on how I want it to work, so I guess what I'm saying is this is all going to be sort of touch and go, see how we go. But yeah, well, let's get to it. So, if you can remember before, we had the 1.7 inch chassis with the SQ8 camera, and we had it planted somewhere like that. So, as you can see, it was too top heavy, and as soon as it hit any corner, it just comes straight off the track. You never got full acceleration, you'd never get it around a loop, so it's kind of useless. So the reasons for this, believe it or not, this chassis weighs only 13 grams, where a fully loaded camera weighs 27 grams, so it's twice the weight, more than twice the weight, and that's why it's just not going to ever work. So what are we going to need to? Let's just start with, I've got an idea on what I want to do. You don't necessarily have to do it the way I'm doing it, but I've got to work with what I've got, because as you can see, these original pieces I super glued on here, I can't really get out without damaging the chassis. So this is just a guide to using some of the bits. You can get both this chassis and the camera from afxworld.com. The camera's about $20 delivered, including shipping, including shipping, and the chassis is going to set you back about $30, $25-$30, so not too much, but you want to get the longer chassis just because you get a little bit more room. As you can see, if it was the 1.5, you're back around there, just in front of the board. So what we're going to do today, I reckon, you need the 1.7 chassis. So, and don't forget, get the Mega G Plus too, because you're going to need all the power. Even though without the housing, the camera's still 7 grams, so it's almost half the weight of the chassis. So you still want to try to keep the weight down as much as you can. Originally I used a thicker plastic. This time I'm using a thinner plastic, which I've broken away from a plastic container. It's about almost half the thickness of the original plastic, but it's a little bit more flimsy. So what am I going to say? You'll need there's your camera, chassis, plastic, double-sided tape, super glue, a prier. This is going to help you when I'll show you to get the internals of the camera out, a texter to mark, some side cutters, pair of scissors, and you want to be using, I'm going to be using this folder, just because if super glue goes everywhere, I want it to go in here, I don't want it to go on the table. And probably a good warning to keep in mind, if you're under the age of 10, probably get someone to give you a supervision. I don't know, depending on who you are. If you're really good at it, just go for it. So yeah, let's get started. So, alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to explain how to open this camera and take the internals out. As you can see here, these are the internals. There's 3 screws. Oh, sorry, you do need a screwdriver set as well. There's 3 screws about this big. So you want to use a small screwdriver or a little, I used a little flathead like this. You got one on the top and there's two that hold the motherboard in either corner. So one there and one there. So what you want to do is first you take the top screw out, which is there, opens the casing. Once you open the casing, I'm just going to put this back in just to show you. There's the two buttons. Okay, so see the infrareds drop into that front slot. This little microphone pops into that hole, and then the camera goes forward into that space there. So this is where you want to be using this. It'll come in very handy, something thin like that, very small. And you want to, when you're pulling this out, pull it bottom out like that, so the switches drop down. So it's going to come out like that. When you pull it and separate it away from the front, this will still, the microphone will still be stuck in that hole. So just be careful, and you want to just pull it out slowly. And then, yeah, exposing the camera like this. So just, once again, take care, be careful, it's fragile. Otherwise, you're going to have to spend another $20 and get another camera. So that helps. Just move that aside for the moment. So what I've decided to do here and how I'm going to make this, because I still have the side pillars, I'm just going to give you an example. Let's just get there. It's pretty bad, but anyway. Okay, so we've got this two side pillars here. I want to come in with a piece of plastic between them, so it'll be gluing in between them. I want to make it a little bit longer than here, so it just squeezes between. And then I want to go in so I'm just over the circuit board like that. So what I want to, the end result is the battery will sit just above the engine, and then we'll bring the, oh sorry, just upside down. The battery will sit on top of the engine, but it will separate it so there's no heat or anything, and the two circuit boards will be separated at the front. It should cover it up. Yeah, and I think this is going to work. So, well, I guess the only way to find out is give it a go. So I'm going to go ahead and mark. Right. Pretty simple, doesn't have to be perfect, because at the end of the day it's going to look a little bit Frankenstein, the camera anyway. Down the track, I'm looking in the future to be purchasing a 3D printer, and then hopefully I can do a little design and try and make a shell that'll encase it. Well, that's unless AFX brings out their camera card or something in the meantime. So get a pair of side cutters. Now this plastic's really weak, so if we can try to get a little bit decent grade. And it's not really breaking. Try the scissors. Oh. Worked out alright. Yeah, there's your little piece. So a bit fatter at the back and it thins out at the front a little bit. Just enough, so there we go. Pops in there. So it all sort of just sits above, as you can see. And then what you want to do, just get your super glue. And see, that's exactly why you want to put something down underneath. Just got super glue all over this folder, but that's okay. At least it's not on the table. I don't know why this super glue is just running. So you just want to dab it on either side. Just in case this doesn't work, I want to come back and change it. And you don't want too much super glue running everywhere, all over your car. And that's really all you need. This super glue is pretty hectic. There you go. So just give that a minute, let that dry. Just try to rub some of that off. Over there. Just blow it. You can see it's covering up the contacts. It is a little bit up at the front, but I still want to put too much pressure on that cable under there. Because it's a flatbed option, like I said, I think this is, I want to try and work something out like this. We'll get to that, just wait for that super glue. Let's come back after that's dried. Okay, that's somewhat dry. It did sort of spill a bit too much on the top, so it's going to take a little bit long, so we can move on anyway. You want to put a little piece here just to raise. It can be anything. It can be a piece of plastic. I'm just using a bit of wood from a wood model I had. Just to what you want to do. Another bit of super glue, like that. Just a tiny dab. Just drop that in. Should stick. Hopefully. But what I'm trying to do anyway is just get a level above the wheel axle, because the camera's going to sit on that little frame. Because what I'm trying to do here is spread the weight evenly across it, so it's not too high. Well, so the weight does, because like I said, low center of gravity to make these things work. And I want to, yeah, sort of spread it so it isn't sort of high. So I think that's, no, it's not going to stick. Yeah, it's doing something. Yeah, it's working. Right. So double-sided tape. You don't want to. Well, I don't want to super glue the camera yet, because like I said, this probably won't be the last camera car I make. I'm still going to keep playing around with this, just as I have new ideas. I want to keep playing around with it, because you want to get, in the end, you want like a perfect car that's going the same speed as the other AFX cars, can do everything around the track. And so there we go. Just put, so a bit of double-sided tape. That's starting to stick at the front there, so I'll just check that. That's only going to need a snip off the end. See? We're taking that one off. Oh, okay, so go ahead. I don't know. Actually, yeah, I want to. This is hard with this camera. I want to put that down first, like so. So it's got a good level. Then I want to bring the battery over. Just do this really gently. We don't want to mess with the camera or wreck it. Okay, so then it's a little bit off the front. Curve the microphone around. So and there you have it. That could work. Just doing a shake test. Okay, so alright, yeah, let's give it a test run. So today I'm going to test this car out. I'm going to build a track that was what I liked growing up, which was Oran Park. They ended up getting rid of it and putting housing over it. It's a bit of a shame, but it's the way the world goes these days. So, well, let's go upstairs, make this track, give this a test go, and see how it goes. And voila, Oran Park. Probably not exactly it's accurate, but it's pretty close. I'm happy with it. It's all that matters. So you start here, down Main Straight, Coca-Cola Corner, around under Dunlop Bridge, go around to Shell Corner, pop around to Champion Curve, over Dunlop Bridge, curves back around to Apgip Corner, round Farmer's Dip. Then you want to come up and you're over to Mummo Corner, over to Dodging, around, back down, Race Car Corner, and back down your Main Straight. And there you have it, done. It's ready to go. We'll bring it down here so you can have a closer look before we go first view in the car. But as you can see, so that back corner, she works pretty good. Still in one piece. Well, as you can see, the double-sided tape isn't the greatest at the front, but I might. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to check the footage. If it goes all well, then I might run with this actually and just end up putting just some super glue to get this this motherboard to stay down, but for the moment it looks pretty good. So we're going to switch to this camera. I've only got the one memory stick, and get some first view and see how that goes. Camera car, the first AFX camera car in the world. You saw it here first on AFX World. We're gonna probably have to play around with it a little bit. Probably end up, I like it, as long as you're not too trigger happy. It seems to stay on the track pretty well. There's a few things I'm gonna tighten this up so it sits a little bit better in there, as you can see, and probably take away the double-sided tape and actually glue that down, because like I said, I'm pretty happy with this. There's not much more. You'll see in the footage, it goes around the track pretty well. So yeah, this is it, the camera car. So if you want, first time while watching us, give us a like, a subscribe. Otherwise, head to our website. You can buy this chassis, you can buy this camera on the website. Well, combined is $40, then it's just your time, some double-sided tape, and a few tools as you've seen, and away you go. You know, first view. You'll be seeing this a lot more in the future videos. We've got some good ones coming up. So yeah, this is AFX World. Enjoy it. Take it easy. Ringo Machiavelli signing out.